Jake Paul or something, right?
Shape that Mike Tyson
or Jake.
So you need cardio, man. You gotta have cardio. Like you gotta I don't know.
He's not gonna have the stamina, so.
Just fun. This is a couple million to sell his products, man. He sold Mike Tyson $1 million necklace in New York. Yeah. I worked for Harry Winston at the time. Came in unannounced. And with an entourage of like 6 dudes with him and his sister. No reason other than just to see how according to him, how well we can kiss his ass.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in the side room. Mr. Winston came down, and Mr. Winston has never been publicly photographed. He's a mysterious guy, but he's worked with all kinds, like all famous, interesting, eclectic people. Let me go work with Mike. So he starts talking to Mike. Blah, blah. They started with watches. Nothing could fit his wrist was so big. In our main salon area, his 6 bodyguards were standing there shoulder to shoulder with our 6 former NYPD officers, all carrying guns. You go sideways real fast. Right. So Mr. Winston says, calls down. He's like, Mike, are you open to trying on a necklace, diamond necklace? I think if we have one that's one of a kind, I think it'll look beautiful on you. Yeah. Bring up the Swank necklace. Now, Hilary Swank was she was nominated for an Oscar. We made a custom belly chain for Hilary Swank. She changed her dress this minute. The necklace she never wore the necklace, or I mean, whatever waist thing, belly chain. And we take it off the mannequin. There's literally her shape in the mannequin. They take it off her, and he tries it on. And he puts on this $1 million belly chain, and it fits him perfectly. So Mr. Winston was like, Mike, you gotta go out to the main salon area. There's floor to ceiling mirrors. You gotta see how great this looks like. You gotta see on your skin, like a beautiful skin like this. Mike is trying to undo his shirt, and he got so frustrated that he was wearing this floral shirt and like rips his shirt off. So now, post-prison Mike, no shirt, $1 million belly chain, standing there in a floor to ceiling mirror, kind of looking at himself like this. Nobody knows what to do. 12 guys, shoulder to shoulder. Everyone's carrying a gun. 6 are his, 6 are ours. My client, his name is Sean Hayes. He was on a show called Will and Grace. Super flamboyant, coming in to get dressed for the Tonys. Walks in. He goes, "Is that Mike Tyson?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I fucked his shirt up." I said, "I don't know." Sean takes his shirt off. Little white dude walks over to the other floor to ceiling mirror, and he starts copying everything Mike's doing. He's like doing this in the mirror, and he's like doing this, and Mike's going. All of a sudden, Mike looks over at him. Like, it's gonna go off his throat. And he goes, "Jack?" And he goes, "Mike?" And he was like, "I love your character, man. I love your show." And they start bro hugging naked in the thing. And he buys it, like $1 million, walks out January in the middle of winter, no shirt, $1 million belly chain around his neck. Everything was cool. Nothing happened.
Tyson, right?
And I always remember that story. That dude is crazy.
Tyson is actually a nice guy. Like, you think he's a killer? He talks like a.
His podcast was one of my favorites back in the day.
Hot Box? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when he was with Ed Britton, I think his name was.
All right, we're gonna get started, guys.
Okay, sorry.
Good.
Enough of my long story.
All right, Jerry. That's it, you know. Not saved for this.
Yeah,
Not on
it's got a
Nice to meet you. I'm Yield, by the way.
Wow.
Oh, nice to meet you.
yield. I didn't get you the shout outs as a golf fan. I was
Nice to get you.
no, but now it sounds like Yield's the one that
He's the glue that keeps us awake.
ran into it.
See you later.
You're not actually.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna do 2 Ignite classes today.
All right.
Work with buyers and sellers and make and receive offers. So this is gonna be a new thing where we're gonna do 2 at once. Because 20 weeks is too long to do a complete cycle. And 10 weeks is perfect because my other classes are also on a 12-week schedule, right? We'll be able to get through everything.
Anyone? Keep doing it.
That is, yes, so this is gonna be what we're gonna go through today.
Is this the same one?
So that's session 14. We're gonna do today's section 16 and 17. So the classes on section 14 and 15 are working with buyers. And then there's a class on working with sellers. Right now, we're gonna do work with buyers and sellers. So. Let's check that out.
Like double ending or just,
Sure, let's know what it
this is just collaborating.
is. Let's see what it is. So. Let me also share with everyone. Working with buyers and sellers. So a little bit about me real quick. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm a licensed broker, been in this office 12 years. And I started by flipping. I owe that all to my wife. She's got the creative gene in her. She could look at a property and say, let's do this.
There's a woman behind it.
There's a great, of course. But I'm a tech guy. I like tech. In 2022, I was top 1.5% in California based on both volume. I have to remind myself of that, like get myself pumped. All right. So I have a 12-week course that goes through everything. Talking about starting with listings, buyers, escrow, title, lender, zip forms. I think we just did this one last week. This is where we get our contracts from. And then my classes this week are going to be on the residential purchase agreement. So Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to do a part 1 and part 2 on the residential purchase agreement. That's the most important classes of all, is getting familiar with the residential purchase agreement. Everything revolves around that contract. If you know this contract, you'll know most of real estate, basically. So that's going to be great classes because I get into not just how to fill out the contract, but also I get into the paragraphs that nobody reads, that you'll have all the answers to and be able to guide your clients through as you know the contract. In order to do counters, you need to know the contract. So if you are a listing agent receiving an offer, you know what to look for, that you know how to counter it. And you're always gonna do what's best for your client, right? So if you're on the buy side, you want to do what's best for a buyer. If you're on the listing side, you want to do what's best for a seller. Comps is next week. We'll do comps, and then I like to do comps every week. So we'll probably do some comps either Wednesday or Thursday. And we'll do a comps. Then buyer consultation, listing presentation, disclosures, inspections, what to do at inspections, who to call for inspections. And then I have 2 classes on leases. This could be 1 class. I don't know. We'll see. So if someone stays in a property after they sell it, that's a lease back. And then we talk about lease also. And then on
Also called a rent back, right?
rent back, lease back, yes. And then these classes that I teach are also 10 weeks. It's 1 class a week. I usually teach these out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, Gary Keller's red book. All right, so we have some new disclaimers on Ignite. You have to comply. This is advisory. Don't call anyone on the do not call list. Don't use an auto dialer or artificial voice without consent. So you can use an auto dialer. The issue is not leaving an automated voicemail. So if you subscribe to one of these companies that have a dialer, that's awesome. That'll allow you to call a lot more people than just doing it manually. But you're gonna have an option on these dialers to pre-record a message if someone doesn't pick up. That we can't do in California. So I only know California. I don't know the rest of the United States. But in California, you cannot leave a pre-recorded voice.
It's interesting. Why is that?
Spam.
People don't want it.
It's part of the do not call. It's not, it even has nothing to do with the do not call list. You can't leave a pre-recorded message on someone who's not on the do not call list. Like there's a law against.
But who knows it was pre-recorded? You? 10 neighbors gonna compare voicemails? Yeah.
All right. So, this is a disclaimer for Keller Williams Realty International. They don't want to be liable for these materials. I can tell you these materials are not hypothetical. Everything is real, coming from we're the largest realtor in the world by agent count. And all these materials come from the most successful agents. So yeah, there's nothing hypothetical in Keller Williams classes at all. There are hypothetical examples of calculation of profit share, agent compensation. So I guess what they're getting at is if they do a hypothetical calculation of say a 2.5% or 3% commission, that is what they're calling hypothetical because there's no fixed commission. So if they're giving an example of a commission, they're just saying this is hypothetical and it's not fixed. So, all right, let's get to that. Obviously, examples provided for informational purposes only. Negotiating commissions. Commissions are not set by law and are fully negotiable. So this is for the world. These Ignite slides, right? It's for all Keller Williams offices. California has always had the best contracts. The issue was not in California. In our California listing agreement, it has always said above the commission area that commissions are fully negotiable. It's always said that. This is, to appease everyone in the United States and worldwide. So again, saying commissions are not set. What else? Fair housing, we cannot discriminate. Of course, we cannot discriminate. It's just natural common sense. When sending commercial email messages, you must comply with the Spam Act, which requires that there's an opt-out feature of your email. So if you're going to send out a mass email, do it through Command, because in Command it has that little opt-out feature. So that's necessary. All right. So this is a 20-course class, Ignite. We are in the last phase of it, the transaction phase. We're going to talk today about working with buyers and sellers and making and receiving offers. So today's class is going to be success with clients, success with buyers, success with sellers, success with agents. I'll tell you real quick, just when I see success with agents, what does that mean? I don't burn bridges with agents, right? So I could be involved in just a horrible deal with someone. I am always going to maintain my relationship with another agent. Thank you very much. Just link Elevate is at 11. Yeah, it's 10 a.m. on Thursday. I'll have to look at the calendar.
It is.
I don't burn bridges. So, right, because you never know when you're going to be needing that agent in the future. So what might happen is you're involved in a multiple offer situation and an agent, you put your offer in and you feel like you were treated really unfairly by an agent. They took their own buyer over your higher offer and you want to curse out that agent, right? Don't do it. Maintain the relationship. There's going to be another time where you're going to be in the same exact situation again and you need them, right? So, all right, we'll get there. Success with agents. All right. In the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, this is Gary Keller has this quote. Virtually every top producing agent we have ever worked with has a deep and almost inherent sense of service. Thank you, Richard. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, that's the Bible for real estate right there. So every agent in the world needs that book.
We did it.
You did it.
We
Oh,
did it. Hallelujah.
congratulations.
Hallelujah.
Congratulations. What you do?
Nothing. I make a big mistake.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for all your work. Thank you. Let
Congratulations.
me see that.
Very good, John. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. So we all come from a place of service, right? We're helping our clients. We don't beg for business. That's not where we're coming from. We're coming from, I have all these tools and resources. I'm in real estate every day. I can be of a big benefit to you. I'm here to help you, help guide you. That's where we're coming from. So, so the top producing agents have a servant's heart and place their buyers or sellers' real estate experience above all else. They are always thinking service. So I can give you an example this morning. I know there was an agent in this office that had an appointment at a duplex to meet a hydrojet person there so they can clean out the drain. There was a lock on the back gate that no one had the key to. She told the guy break the lock. She ran out, bought a new lock, gave the tenants the key to the new lock, and all is good. So, it's that extra service that you do, right?
I have
With permission from the landlord, right? Yeah.
Okay, I had a friend yesterday, Saturday, and grandmother in trouble. I notarized the document. The grandmother, she wasn't confident. But anyway, she has a safe with her grandmother's documents in it. And what can I tell her? Because she can't get in it, and the grandmother is gone. So I sent her a public record saying that showing her, what was the name of the, the trust, because she didn't know.
Are there any other siblings?
I don't know now. Yes.
So there is a trust?
It's in, yes, it's a trust.
There is a trust.
Yeah,
Then it's,
it's the public records.
so it spells out who the trustee is.
Yeah, but she can't get in.
Is she the trustee?
She doesn't know. She can't
She
get
doesn't
in.
even know.
She can't get in the thing.
Okay, did she find out who the trust attorney is that her parents used?
That's a grandmother.
Grandma.
Grandmother's out of the grandmother. I couldn't notarize the grandmother's document. So if you can't get, what can I
So
do?
this is real life, guys. Like,
This is Saturday.
yeah, so I don't want to give you bad information. There could be siblings. I don't want to say go open the safe and right. I don't know. Like, I don't want to give you bad information.
That's power of attorney document. Her father, he's so feeble and
So the government is there to protect siblings,
Yeah.
right, and inheritors. So there could be one sibling that was the perfect person when the document was created, and that person had turned into God forbid, a drug addict or something, and the other siblings no longer want that person to be
Okay.
the right. So those are just scenarios that happen. That's why even if there is like a will and a
Yeah.
trust, the siblings still have to agree that
Yeah, okay.
they're gonna follow that.
If you're
So
gonna break in can she break into the safe? I don't know. I didn't tell them to.
I don't wanna say it. I don't wanna say.
Maybe should-
I know what I would do,
Yeah.
but I don't wanna say it. I don't wanna say it. Like,
So should I
I don't think you should give advice. I don't think you should give it.
attorney?
I don't think you should give advice on it. Yeah, I would ask first, find out if there's siblings. If there's no other siblings, she can do whatever she wants,
Okay.
obviously, right?
She
There's
has
no other
power
sibling.
of attorney for her father, like I said, grandmother was. Maybe I should let you read my text.
I really don't want to have any liability for it.
Oh,
Your phone is ringing, by the way. I don't know if you want to put it on mute or.
yeah,
So
I'm listening.
we all have to be very careful about giving legal advice. We're not attorneys, right? We should not be giving legal advice. We're here to facilitate the transaction, sell properties. But this is the kind of situation where I'm just afraid to get into it. If I would really have to know for a fact this person has no siblings. There might be a sibling no one talks about. It's been in Hawaii for 30 years, right? That could be a situation. So, you just never know. Okay, success with clients. Let's talk about that. So, great agent-client communication. So, communication provides a strong foundation for sustaining a relationship, sets and manages expectations proactively throughout the transaction, creates peace of mind for your clients, and enhances your credibility. I tell my clients personally, as soon as we get into a deal, that it is totally normal for me to hear from them 10 to 15 times a day. I tell my clients that. I don't want them to be afraid to call me, afraid that they're bothering me. I want to know everything going on. I tell them when I'm in a transaction with someone, it's totally normal for me to speak to them 10 to 15 times a day. No problem. They should be totally comfortable contacting me. Also, when I'm doing a showing for a seller, if I have a listing, I'm going to notify the seller of my showings prior to going to the property. And then I'm going to follow up with them after the showing and tell them how the showing went. And that's just going to depend on what their method of communication is. Do they prefer a phone call, a text message, or an email? Right, obviously, when I meet with anyone, I'm going to say, what's your preferred method of communication? And I'm always going to tell them how the showing went. Right. Answers your question. So what I've come to acknowledge in all my years of law enforcement is that you can be the best agent the entire time of the deal. If one thing goes wrong, that's because you don't remember on it. So, every single day, every single encounter, call, everything is important. Everything. You have to be at your best the entire day. Also, when things happen, how you handle them, you have to be the calming effect, right? Our job is to put the deal together and keep the deal together until it's closed. That's our job as an agent. If the deal falls apart, that's on us. Right? We're the ones that are making the deal. These deals are very emotional. Buyers and sellers get very emotional about property. For us, this is our business. It's a transaction, but it's not us actually buying and selling. We're not experiencing the emotion of a buyer and seller. So we do have to be psychologists a lot of times. Okay. A great agent finding. Okay, so that one. Okay. 3 levels of service: purpose, value proposition, and fiduciary. So let's talk. Okay, so this again, these are brand new slides. They just came out last month, 2 months. So functionary versus fiduciary. What is a functionary? A functionary is someone who is just following steps. A fiduciary is someone who's taking actual account and protecting their client, going that extra step. So here Gary Keller answers. A functionary has a specific task relationship with a client. They do a job by dotting the I's and crossing the T's. A fiduciary is a high trust relationship with clients and always puts their best interests first. Start with that. So, functionary versus fiduciary, very, very important. Just know we are fiduciaries in our business. We always have to put our clients first. Dual agency. When an agent represents both buyer and the seller, remember your fiduciary commitment to your client. In dual agency, so we talked about dual agency, that has to do with the broker. So if I have a listing and you have a buyer, right? And my seller accepts an offer from your buyer, this is dual agency. Even though I don't represent your buyer, the brokerage does. And we're always going to be talking about the broker. So if Keller Williams Beverly Hills has a listing, any agent in Keller Williams Beverly Hills that has the buyer for that, it's a dual agency. Right? Now, if Keller Williams Hollywood Hills has the buyer, that's not dual agency. But we have to clearly spell it out, who's representing who. On page 1 of the offer, it says this company and this agent represents the seller, this company and this agent represents the buyer. And then there's another checkbox for dual agency. So it says the same broker represents the buyer and the seller. So you can have the same broker's name and then 2 different agents' names.
Dual agency, not the same as double ending.
Correct. Double ending is dual agency, but it's the same agent representing both the buyer and seller. Whenever you're in that situation, your fiduciary duty to both parties is fair and honest dealing. You have to be honest and fair with both parties. Your duty to the seller is always to get them the most money. You have to get the seller the most money. And your duty to the buyer is full disclosure. You can't hide anything from the buyer. Set expectations. I am always setting expectations depending on the scenario. I've heard agents say to their clients, there will be things that go wrong in this deal, and I will be there to help get through them. Like, expect problems. a client should not expect upfront a smooth deal. Everything's gonna be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect in life, like, right? There are gonna be issues that come up along the deal. So, you can just tell your client upfront, there are going to be issues in the deal and we're gonna get through them. Right? So just, I mean, they're right by you. We'll get through everything that comes up. When some of the expectations I will let my clients know about. So depending on where we are in the deal, I'll just let them know possible outcomes. So if I'm representing a buyer and we're writing an offer, I'll tell my buyer, there's three things that can happen. We'll either get an acceptance, or we'll get a counter offer, or nothing will happen. We'll get a rejection or no response at all. Those are the three possible scenarios. Acceptance, counter offer, or nothing happens. So that's setting an expectation. When I'm signing a listing with a seller and we're only now discussing the listing side commission, I'm giving the expectation to my seller, we're not discussing the buy side commission at this time, but understand that every offer that comes in is going to be asking you to pay a commission to cover the buyer side. Just expect that. All right, so that's setting expectations. When I am representing a seller and offers start coming in, if offers are coming from LLC buyers, flippers, right? Not someone that wants to live there. What we're seeing a lot in the market right now are flippers that are not even just flipping the property to fix it and flip it. There's a lot of flippers in the market who are just looking to get into a contract and sell their contract before it even closes escrow. They want to get the contract and then sell the contract to someone else for a profit. So those are wholesaler. That's what we call
Or
them.
they close escrow?
They flip it in escrow. It's called a wholesaler.
You do that?
You can do that because contracts are assignable.
How could you, oh, because,
A buyer comes in and they get a great price on a property. And now they say, I have $1 million accepted offer on this property that's worth 1.1. And they find a buyer to pay them 1.1.
even though they haven't done contingencies?
Yeah. So now there's different things that we can do to prevent that scenario. But I'm setting my seller's setting expectations. When we're discussing accepting an offer from a flipper, I'm gonna tell my seller, this person could try to sell your contract. Just don't be surprised if we get a letter from them asking you to approve assignment to a third party that we have no idea who they are, and they're gonna make 50,000 or 100,000 on you. How would you feel as a seller, right? If you sell for $1 million and then someone's asking you, they've sold your offer for $1.1 million. The seller's gonna feel like, wow, that 100,000 could have been mine, right? So I'm just setting the expectation up front. That any possible scenario, I'm always setting the expectation, right? Just so there's no surprises. That's all right. The transaction process. So you can partner with an agent. This is going to be a buyer or seller is going to partner with an agent. On a buyer side is going to get pre-approved for a loan. We are going to find out exactly or try to what the buyer is looking for. What are the must-haves? Help them find their new property, make an offer, negotiate the terms. So making an offer and negotiate the terms, we're going to talk about in our next class. But when we're making an offer, hi Pele.
Hey.
Yes, again, I've been done busy. Don't you see I'm sitting?
But this is more important.
Yes, exactly. John.
I tell you.
All right, so when we're making an offer, we're not just talking to our buyer, but we're also talking to the listing agent. What's important for your seller? Our goal is to write an offer that could get accepted. I don't want a counter offer. I want my offer accepted.
Yeah.
So the dialogue I might have with the listing agent, if they're willing to, is what are common things that you would counter? Like if you received an offer today, what would you absolutely counter? They'll probably tell me escrow title, how, they're gonna tell me in this situation, how long the seller needs before they can move out, those kind of things. I wanna know exactly the terms. I wanna make my offer acceptable. I'm gonna hopefully get it under contract. And then I need to coordinate inspectors. When you're giving inspectors to your buyer, give your buyer 3 of each that they can choose from. Thank you, Richard. So instead of saying I have one inspector, this is the inspector, use this, give them options. If you don't have a great inspector as an option, go on Yelp. Find the 4-5 star inspectors with tons of reviews, actually read the reviews. And then send your client a list of choices with the Yelp links where they can look them up themselves. That's what I would do. I use Yelp a lot. All right, now after your inspections are happening, there's gonna be a little negotiation there. Now, all sales are as is. When your buyer writes an offer, they're writing an as is offer. Meaning, if you bring them to a property, there's a giant hole in the wall and the fireplace has fallen down. They are making their offer knowing that because it's obvious. So that the offer is as is. You can't get into a contract and then ask for a credit for fireplace that's already crumbled. So that's as is. But after we do our inspections, we are going to find out stuff we didn't know before. So at that point, we'll have an opportunity to maybe negotiate, asking the seller to fix some things or to give a credit for things. So there will be that. Seller doesn't have to agree, but there's going to be a negotiation. So every negotiation has a give and take. If you're asking for something, there should be something that you're giving in exchange for that. So what's happening is if your buyer can basically walk away from a deal and not lose their deposit, right? If something comes up in inspections they don't like, they can walk away and not lose their deposit. But the seller doesn't want that to happen. So the buyer is basically saying, look, I know that these are new things that I'm aware of now. The foundation has an issue. If you want me to stay in this deal, I'm going to need a credit. So that's a negotiation. And the seller is basically saying, okay, I agree to give you the credit in exchange for contingency removal. If you agree to move forward and put your deposit at risk, and I know you're going to do the deal, I will agree to the credit. So that's the negotiation. You're going to meet the appraiser at the property. And hope if a lot of times there's going to be comps that are not a problem at all, the property is going to appraise. Sometimes it's very hard to find comps. In those kind of situations, I would bring some comps to the appraisal appointment and actually hand them to the appraiser and say, these are the best comps. Or a lot of times your appraiser is going to be from a different area and they're not going to know the area as well as you. So it's important to educate the appraiser on why homes on a certain side of the street are not as valuable or in demand as this side of the street. So very important. But tell your client you'll be there to help with that. Pre-closing preparation. A seller needs to get rid of all the debris in the property. You might be responsible. Someone's going to do it for helping get junk removal. Even if there was a negotiation here with things getting fixed, you might be the one that's calling the Yelp people saying, I need this, I need that done before closing. There's also, if you're representing a seller, there's something called retrofitting, which is smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, water heater strapping. That's something the seller, has to do prior to closing. So you're going to probably be coordinating that. It's an easy thing to do. And then there's closing, yay. Closing is the recording of the granted. So we have, that's the transfer of ownership. It's basically a grantee that says, I, seller, hereby, for valuable consideration, hereby grant my property to buyer. And that piece of paper gets signed and notarized, and that gets recorded at the county recorder's office. That is the transfer of ownership. Now, closing has to do with escrow accounting. Don't forget, escrow has to give the seller their money. They have to pay off any outstanding liens. So that's what escrow takes care of all that. And then we have post-close. Post-close is following up with your client. How's everything going? This is probably, this is a very, I'd say the most important. It's really important. You don't want your clients to think you were only in it for the commission. If you don't follow up with them after the close, they think that. So even on leasing, when I have when I have. I set expectations with my landlords that the week after a tenant moves into a property, it's gonna be a crazy week. The tenant's gonna be saying, this doesn't work, there's a problem with this, there's a problem with that, just expect that, totally normal. That's what happens, and it's an important time for you not to disappear as an agent. So follow up with the tenant's agent, if there was another agent. How's it going? The other agent might say, I have no idea, I haven't called my client. That could happen a lot, so just, get things, it takes a week or two before a tenant settles into a property, just know that. Set time expectations. Okay, well, as far as time expectations go, what takes time? So what are the average days on market for a property? Right? A seller should know how long the average property is staying on the market. So if you have a seller that's expecting to get offers on day 2 or 3, and it's taking 60 or 90 days to sell a property, that's an unrealistic expectation. Unless they set their price really low below market, then they should be getting offers right away. But set those expectations, time expectations. Set document expectations, okay? So again, if these say quick title, only because these were slides that were just created a month ago to comply with the settlement. Set document expectations. All right, if I'm dealing with a seller, I am going to tell them that we're gonna have to obviously fill out disclosures. They're gonna have to do that, they're gonna have to give those disclosures within 7 days to the buyer. In 5 days, 7 days. I need to know that everyone can do DocuSign, or if I need to meet them in person. Another document expectation could be they're on a listing, a buyer's agent could call me and say, if I give you an offer today, could it get accepted today? I need to know how fast my client takes to respond. What if my client's out of town, right? So I might want to tell a buyer, I can't get you a response for the whole weekend. Maybe my client's not available. So setting document expectations. I can tell you for a buyer that is going through a loan, the lenders ask for so much documentation that I've heard from buyers, if I knew in advance what I was gonna have to go through to get all these documents to the lender, I would never have gone through it. So just set the expectation. We'll get through it. Basically, there's gonna be a lot of paperwork for you as a buyer. We'll get through it. Other document expectations. So I've heard recently there are people that have buyers or they have sellers that are out of the country. This used to be a huge deal with a seller that was out of the country because they would have to schedule an appointment with the local United States consulate in order to have the grantee notarized. But right now, there have recently in the past year or two, that title companies are now accepting online notarizations. So that's, yes.
There might be a problem with that.
Okay,
For California.
so basically we have to talk if that's gonna, so right, if you know in advance that your seller is out of the country. If hopefully it's before they left, get a grantee signed before they leave.
Yeah.
If they are out of the country, then we need to find a title company that will accept an online notary, right? You
Okay.
may have to switch title company.
Okay, because there was some type of a loan.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take effect 2030, but I'll check with the legal department today at the National Notary Association and let you know.
So if it was me and I had a client out of the country,
Yeah,
I would be calling our title company and saying, is this gonna be an issue? And that as long as we get title insurance, that's all we care about, right? The buyer needs to get title insurance. And the seller needs to provide title insurance. So we don't have a deal without title insurance. It's part of the condition of a deal. All right, set communication expectations. Again, I tell my buyers and sellers it is not uncommon to be on the phone with me 10, 15 times a day. Text me all the time. Like I'm just gonna tell her, if you're an off limits person past 5 p.m., that might be you. You might say, I only work 9 to 5, and at 5 p.m. I shut off my phone for business. I'm not available. No problem. If that's how you do business, then set the expectation up front. There's some clients that if they think they can call you at 11 p.m., they will, right? But if you set the expectation up front, that's totally fine. Just set the expectation. Set contingencies. So the picture is showing out of office, I'm on vacation. Right, so as a listing agent, perhaps yourselves will be out of town and unable to respond to offers on a particular weekend. Get that information well ahead of time and put it into the MLS so agents will know if they need to provide a longer response time. Set contingents, I don't know, so. Okay, look at it. Part of your listing might be, part of your listing strategy might be that you're gonna come on the market on a Wednesday, have advertising for the weekend, for Tuesday, open houses, that you're gonna put in the MLS, offers due by a certain date. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. So just set that contingency. Up-to-date market expectations, again, this is going to be you coming in to your seller and probably just going over, this is how long it's taking to sell a house. This is what's happening. Right now, we are 30 days before a general presidential election. This is a weird time in the market. We are also up against Prop 33.
And 34.
So Prop 33 and 34, yes. This is a very weird time in the market. First of all, it's an election, right? It's an election, and we're only 30 days away from an election. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. Whenever you have uncertainty, people are on the sidelines, just in general.
People are on
The sidelines.
sidelines.
Yeah, people are on the sidelines unless they're gamblers. Whenever there's uncertainty, people are just usually on the sideline. The other issue is interest rates are going down. So buyers might think that they're gonna wait for interest rates to go down. The other issue is we have, for income property, we have this Prop 33 issue on the ballot. 33 gives power to cities in California to institute their own rent control, which they already have. However, it's different. This is different. Prop 33 will allow houses to be under rent control and condos. And you're gonna have to, a landlord will have to register their property at a certain rent amount. Once that property amount is registered, you can't raise it to market rent, even with a tenant that moves out voluntarily. So once a market rent is established with registration, even if no one comes and rents it for 2 years, then someone comes back, they're gonna look at the previous registration and say you're allowed 3% this year, 4% that year, and this is the maximum that you can get. It will create a citywide, market rent stabilization, basically. Which means that if you're so whenever I look at a income property, what am I looking for? I'm looking for upside. What's my upside? If I buy this property, how do I make money on it? Right? So I would love to buy a property that has low rents, because when those tenants move out, I can fix up the property and get higher rent, which will in turn make my property more valuable. That's how I make money. I buy something that has low rents, fix it up, get higher rents, more valuable property. The problem here is if I'm selling, if I'm looking at a property and the rents are at this number and all those rents are registered, when the tenant moves out, I have to stay at those low numbers. So now what's the upside? That's what Prop 33 is going to do. So I don't know what's going to happen. There was an email that went out this morning.
That's Newsom doing that for California.
It's on the California ballot. Yeah, I don't know who's
Property owner.
who's behind. Oh, the person behind the bill is from New York.
Is
This guy Weinstein, from New York, is a crazy guy.
Because no property owner is gonna vote for that.
Correct.
So who's bringing that in?
So basically, he raised money through some kind of health organization, maybe, and that's in the AIDS organization, but he used all that money to fund campaigns or propositions. Prop 34 that Richard was just talking about says that I'm not political, by the way, at all. I just know this because of this Prop 33. So Prop 34 says that all the money that gets donated to any kind of health organization, the health organization has to use 90% of those funds to actually benefit people in health, not towards salaries and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm curious about that because the California Association of Apartment Owners, they are 17,000 members and they represent an additional 50,000 people. And renters make up 42% of the population of California, which is 17 million renters.
Yeah.
Against maybe 67,000 apartments. So I'm
So Prop
just
30
curious. I looked at-
33 right now has the census lead.
But they're
to get a-
they're over
They're
17.
calling it the Renters Protection Act.
There are
what they're
over
calling it.
17 million renters in California.
We'll see what happens.
Now I'm just curious. I looked it up.
Yeah.
Just to see, the numbers.
17 million renters.
Over 17 million.
How many owners?
The CAA, they represent the 17,000 members. They represent 50,000 owners. So that's maybe 67,000 people. And the renters make up, I think, 44% of the population of California, which is 17 million something. Now you can look all that.
No. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm hearing, I'm hearing people have their opinions.
Yeah,
on
I just looked at
33.
it just out of
So
curiosity.
what people are saying is if Prop 33 passes, that builders will no longer have an incentive to build because there's not, I mean, I don't know. Once rents are set, that's it. Like, that's it for that property. It's gonna go up 3 or 4% here. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? If you own a house, I don't know.
It's a good thing for the public. It's not a good thing for business owners.
Because 17 million against 67,000.
I do know that we have,
This one didn't have 67,000 to win. Out of curiosity.
I don't know. I mean, we have an affordability issue
Yeah.
for sure, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is gonna help with it or hurt
Yeah.
it. That's the question.
Well, the good news is most people don't read anything and they're not gonna have any idea it's on.
If I have a property with a vacant unit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna raise my asking rent.
Okay.
On my vacant unit.
You're gonna raise what?
I'm gonna raise my asking price on my vacant unit.
Okay.
Because I know that once my price is set, it's always gonna be set.
Yeah.
I need to start high.
Okay.
So what could happen is if it passes, every vacant unit goes up.
Yeah.
Could be, because now it's gonna get set.
And but I was, I'm hearing all these commercials, so that's when I, went online to see how many apartment owners there were and how many renters there are in the state, and 44% of the state are renters and 44% of 40 million.
It's a tough issue. It's a tough issue.
17 million and so.
Affordability is real. I mean, it's a real thing. Inflation, I mean, look. Everyone's getting beat up. But the question is, will it have an opposite effect and actually raise rents? Yes, no, that's the unknown. Right, so start with your sphere. We're talking about set expectations seamlessly with your KW Tech. Okay. Start with your sphere. Look, this is for prospecting. This thing, for example, in parts of the country where national disasters have made home insurance significantly more expensive, perhaps you move checking for insurance quotes up in your buyer's timeline. Oh, that's interesting. Set expectations seamlessly. Okay, so for us, California insurance right now is hard to get. Prices are high. So while insurance historically in the past has not been a top priority, because someone could have called an insurance carrier and gotten insurance the day before closing, literally. Now that could be very hard to do. It could take a few days, it could take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even to get an insurance quote sometime. If it's in a fire zone, so that is an expectation that needs to be set right away. We should be telling our buyers immediately get an insurance quote. Okay, 3 steps to gaining referrals. This is great. How do we get referrals? Provide value, ask for help, and reward. Let's see what this is. Okay. You might be thinking, we haven't even put in an offer. Why am I asking for reviews and referrals? Would you ask your client for a review and referral before you even write an offer to them? You shake your head no. Well, because you're already providing value, which is the first step to gaining referrals and reviews. From the beginning, tell your client throughout this process, I'm going to give you amazing service and earn your trust so that you'll want every member of your family working. 68% of sellers who used an agent found their agent through a referral. I believe that. There are 3 simple steps to gaining referrals. So provide value, provide stellar service, provide education, advice, and care. Ask for help. Let people know your business is based on referrals. So don't forget to ask for referrals. And reward. Reward the behavior of referral. Don't wait for closing. So I used to have a lender that would send me a candy bar in the mail every time I sent it. I love this guy. I get a candy bar. And then he stopped sending me candy bars. I don't know why. Stopped giving me bars. I mean, no, I'm kidding, but I don't know why he stopped sending me candy bars. But he's rewarding. It didn't matter if my buyer turned into a loan for him. He was rewarding my activity of giving him a referral. So that's what it's saying. Reward the activity.
It's not reminiscing.
No. All right, 5-star reviews are the only ones that we want, obviously. Start your relationship by letting the client know that you're going to ask for their 5-star review. Okay. Remind them throughout the process. If your purchasing or selling experience exceeded your expectations, would be so kind as to give me a brief review. I'd also like your permission to use this in my advertising and marketing. So that's a great thing to send out to a client. Exactly like talking the slide. So go to Ignite. This is session 16. Just go into KW command. agent.kw.com.
My login is not.
Login expand. And you will go, once you're logged into command, you'll click on connect. At the very top, click on connect and then search for Ignite. And you can get this here. Okay, here's the student manual. These are all the slides, everything. So we are doing right now. All right. Seller reviews. Okay, so these are just examples. The client's home sold quickly. They got their asking price or above their asking price. They were impressed by the service. So that's interesting. You can actually prompt your client when you're sending the email ideas for talk. Like if you know that you did something exceptionally well during their deal, you can just give them some ideas. Can you please leave a 5-star review for me? Just some ideas if you can talk about this, this, and this, right? So that's great. Love it. All right. Seller reviews, yes. All right. Success with buyers. All right. So what buyers want most from their agent is to find them the right property. Okay. I'd say that's the main thing. So with sellers, it's going to be getting them the most money in the shortest amount of time. With buyers, it's going to be finding the right property. Buyer needs analysis. So yes, we have a full class on just going over the buyer's needs. Who's going to be living there? Adults, children, pets. Are there any non-negotiables that you need to know about? Any preferences for the year the house was built? Some people will only want new construction. Some people love older craftsman properties. Are you willing to do any work on a property? Any specific features you're looking for? Will you require accessibility options? Is anyone going to be living with you that needs wheelchair access, basically? Do we need a ramp? Do we need wide doorways? So these are things to know from your buyer. Because that could rule out a lot of property. Or you might find the perfect property for them. So change is what fuels our business. Change. If everything stayed the same, no one would ever sell the property. So you could be knocking on a door and the person says, I will never sell. They're going to carry me out of a box, right? Well, carry me out of this house in a box. You can say, do you know when that will be?
I said, hey, officer.
Can you put me in your will so your kids don't have to argue who the agent is going to be? Right? Prevent that fight. Select me as your agent in your will so the kids don't have to fight about it. But that person might say, don't come back here. Or, I'm never moving. And then you walk down the street and the phone rings and it's their boss. And their boss says, we're relocating you to Tempe, Arizona. Job opportunity came up. I need you there. You got to sell your house right away. And then they're chasing you down the street. Like that happens. I mean, change happens. So, right, there's always change. Tough conversations is fiduciary conversations. Yes. Have those tough conversations right away. That is a fiduciary conversation. So tax planning starts when you are buying a property, not once you're in escrow or after escrow closes. So there should be a conversation up front, like, husband and wife, sole and separate property, community property, right? There's going to be some conversations that come up. Maybe you're not going to be involved in that because you don't want to give legal advice. But there could be some tough conversations that have to be had. It's important how title is taken up front. All right, show homes based on needs analysis. Yes, the way that you're going to really know about someone's needs is by asking a lot of questions. If someone just tells you that they are looking for this, this, and that, you need to ask them why this, and that is important to them. Often a buyer will tell you they're looking for A, B, and C, and they end up buying something on XYZ, like totally off, not what they told you they were looking for. So when they tell you they're looking for something, just say, why is that important? Really, really try to get to the bottom of it. That's going to help you find them the property. Showing only the best. So showing homes best practices, show only the best properties for your buyer. Okay. Have an MLS listing with pricing information and key details, including disclosures. So if you're taking a buyer out, hand them an MLS setup sheet of the property that you're taking them to. Mark properties on a map and answer location questions. If I'm going to take a buyer out, show them 4 or 5 properties, I'll probably have 4 or 5. I'll have them all printed out, and then my top one will be a map of the property. And when I set my showings, I will set them in order of location, and we'll end up right where we started because we're going to probably meet at the first location, and then leave a car there, and we'll all get in my car and go to the other ones, and then end up where we started. But we don't want to go like zigzag back and forth across town. That would make no sense. So we have to do that. Be knowledgeable about the property and neighborhoods. So you can do this on page 1 of the MLS from the market snapshot. Quick market snapshot. Be knowledgeable about the property and neighborhoods. Include recent homes. Point out potential issues and concerns with each house. If you walk into a house that is leaning, and there's a clear foundation issue, point it out to your clients. Don't be like, I can't wait, whatever we get to do a deal will be good. If you see major issues with the property, just point it out. Say this house is not for you. The only way to get this house is if you steal it, because I can already see there's going to be 200,000 in work that you need to put into this house that you're not even going to see, right? Not even an upgrade that you'll see, just a current situation. So don't be afraid to point those issues out.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
When the house is renovated and your clients are looking for more renovated houses, there is usually minimal risks.
So there's different levels of renovation. So the question is, the person who did the renovations, did they do it? Did they actually do everything the right way, or is it a cosmetic only? Right. everything can be hidden. And, right, you don't know the issues till you have an inspector go in, start looking at the property, so. Um. You know, you can have a beautiful IKEA kitchen. That as soon as you kick something, it crumbles, right? And it looks gorgeous, right? You just don't know the material until you actually start inspecting and looking at it. Showing homes means agent interaction, yes. You have to call an agent and create a time for the showing. Now, if in our MLS, there's gonna be showing instructions for a property. Sometimes those showing, my recommendation is just read, before you call an agent, read the MLS. Sometimes you're gonna look on the agent sheet and it's gonna say 24-hour notice. Don't call an agent and say, can I see the property today? If you don't read the MLS and you call an agent and say, can I see the property today? They're gonna be like, didn't you read the MLS? We don't want to start off on the wrong foot. So if I call an agent after I've read it, I'm gonna say, hi, it's JJ Wallack, hello, it's Beverly Hills, calling about your property on Smithwood. I see it says in the MLS 24-hour notice required. Is there are you doing a showing today that I can piggyback on? Or do you already have anything scheduled for today that I can, have at the same time? I'm already giving a notice, I've read their MLS, so that's all. Just acknowledging it, that's a much easier way to get your client in. Home tour toolkit, okay, well, we don't have COVID right now as far as things, but we used to have to drive around with masks and gloves and sanitizing stuff. So yes. I mean, look at these things, they're saying if you're a
Flashlight.
have a flashlight, no joke. I mean, you could be walking into a property that has no electricity, right? Have a level, a tape measure. A tape measure is a good thing to have. Have some photography with you for emergency. Yeah. Wrap wipes, sticky logs, hand wipes, hand sanitizer, masks, shoe covers, business cards, umbrellas, beverage and snacks, entertainment for kids. Okay, just things to keep in mind. No, you're gonna know in advance who your client is that you're taking around. Okay. Safety first, yes. I can't say enough about safety. Hopefully, you know your buyer that you're gonna be meeting. If you don't know who your buyer is, do some research, right? Maybe your first property, if you're only showing one property, like if you're showing a property that's in the hills away from people, like, just be aware of your exits. Someone should know where you are at all times. You might want to have someone on the phone with you during your showing and they know the address that you're at. So if you call this office and ask for the red file, Mariah knows to call 911 on her other line. So if that ever happens, God forbid it happens, but if you do need to call our front desk, ask for Mariah, or Mariah, just say I need the red file on and give the address. And she should be asking you questions like, is it more than one person, 2 people, 3 people, male, female? She'll start asking questions while she has 911 on the other line. Don't turn your back to anybody ever if you're doing a showing. If you're going upstairs, have them go first, right? You just don't want to turn your back to anybody. Our job is to sell homes, not show homes. So, yes, sell the home. All right, why do buyers hesitate? They're afraid to commit to only some minor detail of the home. They feel they haven't seen enough of. They need to sleep on it or get the opinion of their spouse or their trusted advisor. So just knowing that is helping you. So, understand people are generally afraid to commit. Totally natural response. Am I paying too much? Is something better going to come on the market? Right? Totally natural response. Some minor detail they don't like. Can it be fixed? That's all. If their argument is, I'm not sure about that house because of this, can X be fixed for a certain amount of dollars, right? Or they feel they haven't seen enough homes. So, you might want to talk to your buyer up front. Are you the kind of person that can make a quick decision? Or do you need to see a certain amount of homes before you make a decision? Right, so you can have that, you can ask that question. They need to sleep on it, so just know your buyer, right? Know who they are. All right, guidelines to facilitate decision making. Always go back to their motivation. Meaning, if someone is moving here from New York and they need to be in Beverly Hills because Beverly Hills schools. And I show them something and they're on the fence, I can say, well, you said you had to be in Beverly Hills by this time. This is in Beverly Hills. It meets all your other criteria. What's stopping you? Try to isolate the objection, right? Go back to their needs and wants. Again, you need to be here by a certain time, right? You wanted to be in this area. This is it. Advise them as a consultant and fiduciary. Buy it now. Over time, the property value will go up, right? It may go down and then up, but property over the long term will always go up. Unless there's some like catastrophe, oil spill, right? But that's out of our control. But over time, property values will increase. Allay their fears, solve their challenges, calculate the cost of waiting. What will happen if you don't get this property and nothing new comes on the market? What's going to happen? What's the cost of not getting this property? All right, success with sellers. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get to round 2 today. Sellers want most from their agents. So sellers, I said, sellers want to sell for the most money in the shortest amount of time. So this is coming from a survey from the National Association of Realtors in 2021. Help price the home competitively. Okay, that's what sellers filled out on their questionnaire. I think sellers know what they want. I think sellers inherently know what their house is actually worth. So I don't know, that's an interesting one. Help seller market the home to potential buyers, yes, 100%. Help sell the home within a specific time frame, yes. Help sellers find ways to fix up. Other is 27%. Notice how other is the largest pie slice here. What sellers want most from their agent, and I say get the most money. So that's the 27. I think that's the 27. All right. Seller needs price, yes, most money, time frame, fastest amount of time. Conveyances. So a conveyance is transfer of ownership. Let's see what this says. Explain conveyances. I don't know. A conveyance is the transfer of ownership. That's a conveyance. So how does that happen? It happens with a grant deed. Who does the conveyance? The seller will notarize a grant deed with the buyer's name on it. It's handled by escrow. All right, but this is it. Seller needs the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time. That's what the seller wants. Why will sellers sell? Changes, life changes, divorce, death, right? They inherit a property that they need to sell. Job change, so their whole either life change or their whole world changes for some reason. So if you're constantly saying who should I prospect, you can go after a geographic area, but you can also target inherited properties, right? So probate properties or divorce properties or relocation companies. Also like insurance companies that get contacted when there's a major flood or fire. Those people could be potential sellers. All right, sellers can control the price that they're asking and the condition of their property. So that's what they can control. What is my asking price and what's the condition of my property? Full control. So that's it. I mean, we don't have, that's what the seller can do is adjust their price. Every property has a price. Now, the question I get from some sellers is, if I fix this or fix that, how much will it raise my price? That's a question I often get. How much more can I get for my property? The answer might be 0, but it will help your property sell faster. Right? So Could be an answer. Sensitive seller conversations. Orders from pets. This property stinks. You could walk into a property and just be like, whoa, something died in here. How do you have that conversation with the seller? Just things to keep in mind. So smoking, what do you do with a seller who smokes inside their house?
Repeat.
I mean, it could be an issue. Mothballs, right? You can go to an old person's house, everything smells like mothballs. Unclean conditions. I've walked into properties where the ceiling is literally being held up by boxes. Boxes just piled up holding up the ceiling. Cluttered conditions, deferred maintenance. Removing sellers for showings. Ugh, that's number one pet peeve. You never want your seller there while you're showing their property. Illegal activities, nice. Oops, someone opens up a door, it's a throw room. Oh my god, then what? Guns in the house. Okay, well, I do always tell my sellers for showings and for open houses, you know, you need to have your makeup put away and inaccessible. Firearms, costume jewelry, small pocketable electronics. Yeah. Price issues. What are some issues that come up around price? Suggested price is too low. So obviously, if you come up with a price, the seller is going to say that's too low. You won't leave enough money for them to help them buy their new property. It won't cover what they owe. The neighbor's house sold for more. Online estimates say it's higher. Don't forget Zillow, the Z estimate. So whenever someone brings up the Zillow estimate, the Z estimate, whatever you call it, I always say it's great for entertainment. I treat that as a horoscope. You know, it's just entertainment. But in California, you know, in LA, you can have one house next to each other, that are completely different. So if you're in a tract area, Victorville, Palmdale, you know, those kind of places where they have these giant HOAs, they have maybe 4 models of homes, a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and a 5-bedroom. Like that's it. It's very easy for Zillow to be accurate on those automated prices. But when you're in Hollywood Hills, Beverly Hills, you know, Mar Vista, Culver City, the houses are different. You know, you can't, it's not going to be accurate. It can be 15-30% off sometimes. So that's all. We just have to show, we have to get comps, which are comparable property. All right. Great communication again with your seller. We already went through that with the buyers. If the client violates fair housing, okay, interesting. Hasn't happened to me often. I have had some lunatics. Remind the client of their obligations under the Fair Housing Act. Discontinue representation of the client. Report the incident to your broker immediately. If you're in a situation where your client is present at a showing, which I highly discourage, and an incident happens, yeah, you're probably gonna have to tell your broker about that and fully document that. I don't want my sellers ever present at showings. This situation would not occur. Yeah, with me personally, I'm never gonna have a seller at the showing, but I'd say never. If it does happen, I don't know. I'm pretty particular about clients that I work with, meaning I'm not ever involved with litigious people. If I hear them bragging about some lawsuit, I'm out. I'm like, I'm not. Those are not people I deal with. No commission is worth your reputation. So in Keller Williams, we have something that we call the Y4C 2Ts. So it's Y, and then we have 4 Cs and 2 Ts. Y4C 2 Ts. No commission is worth reputation. So everything is win-win or no deal. Win-win for a buyer and a seller. When I am negotiating, I'm going to tell the buyer that I'm representing or the seller that I'm representing that a win-win means both people are unhappy. Both people. That's a win-win. If you have one side happy and one side not happy, that's not a win. Win-win means both sides are a little unhappy, right? Because no one got everything that they want, right? But that's a win-win. It's actually a win-win. So just let them know that. Integrity, always do the right thing. In Beverly Hills, you will have a listing. There will be some wealthy people that ask you to represent them. They want you to represent, because they're wanting you to represent them, they're gonna say, get me a better price on this property, and they have their bag of cash here that they're offering you to help you do that. No, don't do that. Don't risk your license for one deal. It's just not worth it. This is your whole income. Customers always come first, not you. So, if you are in a deal and it's a property that has a serious issue, your commission is not as important as that person's gonna be losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay? Don't force them into a deal that is not for them. Commitment in all things. Okay, be committed. Communication, seek first to understand. So ask questions first. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, everyone achieves more is the team acronym. Together, everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty. Equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. Keller Williams is a big leveraging model. Results through people. So there's a lot of agents in this office that can help you with things that you're not so good at. And you can help with other agents with things that you're good at. So everyone should complement each other. All right, listings leverage, leads listings leverage. This is our KW triangle. It all starts with listings. For getting leads. You need leads to get listings. Once you have listings, you can leverage that for more leads and more listings. So these all go hand in hand. Capitalize on your listings by marketing your brand at the same time to bring in more listings and more buyers. So right now, when you don't have a listing, it's everything you do is outgoing, trying to facilitate business. Once you have a listing, things start coming in. Buyers are calling you, agents are calling you, other sellers might be calling you. So we're going to leverage all of that. Keep your foot on the gas. This is from Gary Keller's book, Shift. The message you put out to attract prospective buyers and sellers, everything. Why would they want to contact you in this market? What would they get if they did? These two questions are at the heart of all effective messaging. So being told to keep this in mind. Why you? So whatever message you're putting out there, it has to be why someone should do business with you. Your MLS listing reflects your brand, so get it right. Have the right documents for your region and market center uploaded. We don't upload any documents to our MLS unless there's some reason to do it. Utilize the right professionals to get great pictures and photos. Yes. Set the right schedule for your listing. So utilize the right professionals, take professional shots. Don't take pictures yourself. Hire a photographer. You guys are doing business here, you have to have quality photography. Set the right schedule for your listing. That means what's the right schedule? So our open house is on Sundays from 1 to 4 or 2 to 5. And it depends on daylight savings time. So right now it's 2 to 5. As it starts to get darker later, or darker earlier, we're going to fall back, and then showing times will change from 1 to 4. Right now, so depending on daylight savings, 1 to 4, 2 to 5. Also know that in the valley, broker open houses are on Friday from 11 to 2. Here in the city, they're on Tuesday, 11 to 2. If you have if you have a listing in the valley, you might want to have Tuesday and Friday, 11 to 2, because agents from the city are going to come Tuesday and agents from the valley are going to come on Friday. Right? Just when they're used to doing it. Import listing data directly from the KWLS. So we have our own MLS through Keller Williams. And that can be accessed through not agent.kw.com, but mykw.kw.com. So this is interesting. This is our other portal. It's mykw.kw.com. Under marketing, or not under marketing, under technology, you have KWLS. This is our MLS for Keller Williams.
That's everything that Keller Williams is listing.
This is our Keller Williams MLS. Like we have our own MLS.
Oh, this is where you can put the link on your
You
website.
can put a pocket listing here, but
But I'm saying you can send potential clients to this and they can peruse an MLS through this. This is-
Keller Williams MLS is different from the regular MLS.
this is different. So here I see I have a listing here that's here in KWLS. Now this is interesting. This price was not updated. So interest. It's a different method of, so we used to use this for, what do you call it? Syndication. So there's things that we're not allowed to do in the MLS that we can do not in the MLS. So the MLS doesn't allow us to brand our photos. You can't have your name and phone number on your photos. But I could put my name and number on every single one of these photos. And then it could be syndicated from here.
In a mailing.
No, like all over the internet. So like my Zillow ad, my Trulia ad, my homes.com ad, everything that they're getting could come from here and have my name and phone number on every single photo. Can't do that from the MLS.
But who's populating that?
So this is List Hub enabled. So you see this checkbox, List Hub enabled.
Yeah,
List Hub is the syndicator that our MLS uses, and it's also the one that KW uses. So it's interesting that it's currently in the slide deck. These slides were just made last month.
right, but can you put that link on your website and say I have a buyer? I say you can go on my website, click on the KW MLS and go look at some properties. Or no?
Yeah, I'm not sure that you'd want to use the KW one though,
So what's the point of having this?
because of syndication.
So you're just trying to get your phone number on the Zillow picture,
Yeah,
but who's populating? Why don't, how is Zillow populating their?
List Hub, they subscribe to List Hub. That's the syndicator. List Hub takes
I noticed that different websites have different photos.
older photos, not from the same listing though. They might be from an older listing. Right? Because if you're looking at the current listing, it should be the same photos on every website. If you see other photos, it's probably from an older listing on the same property. But just something to play, like, I haven't talked to Keller Williams recently about KWLS. Now that I see a slide created last month, talking about KWLS, I'm probably going to, give them a phone.
And you want your phone number on that Zillow photo just to get that traffic.
I will, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
You think the person looking at that's gonna go, oh, that's JJ, let me call him.
I think if someone finds my listing online and they see my name and phone number on one of the photos,
Sure.
they're gonna call me.
Yeah.
So I want that advertised for myself. The MLS prohibits it.
But you have to populate your own listing on the KW MLS.
Correct.
Got it.
So, and that's where you would do it from my KW. Technology, KWLS. Yeah, if I put a listing in here, so
It's your own listing. You can update.
Create listings. Oh, uncheck the List Hub enable box for your market center, creating a new listing. So, yeah. There's something that came up here called Red Property Sites. This is a company that I use for my property websites. So if you want to create a property website just for your property, I would do this. I would use this company.
If you sell something, can you put it on your website?
No, if you want to create a property website,
Oh, property website.
yeah. Property website. Let's finish up this class. We're not gonna do the second class today. Thought we'd get to it, or not. Yep. All right, proper signage. So National Association of Realtors has something called a clear cooperation policy. This is national. Within 1 business day of marketing a property to the public, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS. Okay, public marketing includes flyers, yard signs, digital marketing on public facing websites, brokerage website displays, digital communication market, like in email blast, multi-brokerage listing sharing networks, and applications available to the general public. So once you've advertised your listing to the public, it must go into the MLS within 1 business day. Okay, that's the clear cooperation policy. All right. That's it for today's class. That's it for today. Don't forget our daily tasks, what we must do every day. We have to have 10 real estate conversations a day. Add 10 contacts to your database. You're a social media person. 10 likes, 5 1 post for social media every day. 10 likes, 5 comments, post. An enrichment would be taking out your client for lunch, right? It's enrichment.
Lunch, any price, $200 menu, like in burger.
Appointments are our daily goal. That's our daily goal. The reason that we're having 10 real estate conversations is to get an appointment. That's gonna be a showing appointment or a listing appointment. That's what we want. And then getting into an agreement, so writing offers, writing listing contracts, and then hopefully getting to close. All right, don't call anyone on the do not call list. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution. People are happy to be in a relationship with me. Okay, let's see, elevate is 10 a.m. So let's just look at our calendar real quick for this week. All right, so here we are on the 7th. And then tomorrow is open house day. So we don't have anything scheduled. We have at 1 p.m. Ramin is going to do a home buyer seminar, first time home buyer seminar. And then there's going to be an all agent town hall tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So open house is from 11 to 2, and then office meeting at 3. Okay, on Wednesday, I will have a class on the residential purchase agreement, part 1 at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. And then part 2 will be 11 a.m. on Thursday. But my first class on Thursday will be talking about working your sphere. Okay, so that's it. Enjoy, show some houses tomorrow, sell them.
The same house has been in the market here, nothing new in this area. This house that has been
Yeah,
on the market for a long time.
so right now we're 30 days away from a general election.
Yeah, but this, I mean,
I'm saying it's a
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
really weird time in the market right now. So
nobody's gonna come.
we're 30 days away from a general election.
Yes,
Interest rates are going down.
going down.
Going down. Prop 33 is on the ballot. So for income property, that could be a big deal.
So you cannot raise the rent
Can't raise the rents.
with a new
And
tenant.
if someone moves out, you can't raise it to market rent. It's gonna be based upon the established registered rent.
Somebody usually for 50 years pay 500. You cannot charge.
So I don't know, I mean, the laws.
This is
It's a problem.
unconstitutional. Yeah.
If I bought a multifamily, let's say 3 units, 3 of them are vacant and I'm the owner now, new owner.
Okay.
And I wanna rent them out all. And what is the start price? Is there a limit?
So if Prop 33 passes,
Mhm.
what will happen is when the tenant moves in, you will have to register the tenant with the local housing office. And it'll ask you what's the rent.
What's your opinion? What do you think is gonna happen?
I don't know.
They told me
It's been
numbers.
it's been overturned twice.
Yeah,
It's not gonna pass. It's not gonna.
I don't know.
I'm trying to see, I can't think I had 67,000
I just don't.
apartment owners against seven
Well, how is it right now? Can't,
renters.
you guys are all.
So Prop 33 will allow cities to establish rent control on houses and condos in addition to properties that are rent. Basically, it'll be, a city will have the ability to put rent control on everything. So if you own a house and you rent it at a certain price, that'll have to be registered with the housing authority for the city. And then if someone moves out, you can't just raise it to the current market rent. It has to be the rent you were charging plus the yearly allowed increase.
Why would they hate landlords so much?
Can, you see JJ, the government want their money, they want new property tax, so can you charge me old property?
But why would I?
If I buy a new property,
I don't wanna buy anything.
the property tax or insurance, everything is on the landlord.
Right.
But okay, before Prop 33, right now, let's talk about right now.
Right now, if a tenant moves out, you can raise the rent to the market rent. If a tenant voluntarily moves out, you can fix up the property and then get whatever the market will allow.
Regardless of rent control.
Regardless of rent control. If someone moves out voluntarily,
Mhm.
now you have a vacant unit. You can fix it up and then you can ask whatever the market rent is. Yeah. But if Prop 33 passes, if someone moves out, you need to re-register the new tenant. It's gonna ask you what the old rent was.
Oh,
Everything is bad already, now it's even worse.
I mean, this,
and you can raise the rent after that 3%? Do they tell you how much you can raise after?
every city has,
You don't
oh,
know.
LA County says how much you can raise the rent,
Yeah.
right? Every year they publish the allowed increase.
Say I'm gonna move to Florida or Texas.
No, but as a tenant, that's a good thing. Then nobody would wanna buy a house, right? Everyone would wanna rent that.
Yeah.
If you are, well, I don't know.
Oh, you know, JJ, it can be like somebody who's rich is sitting, living in a house paying $500 a month rent. He has a friend or family member, he said, I'm gonna move out. You come and live here and pay 500.
So that would be a 3-day notice to evict,
Oh, really?
right? Because they're not on the lease.
Sublet.
However.
No, if he moves out
Even
and the other guy
if
moves
you
in.
evict them, I don't think you can raise the rent. Even if you evict them. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't want to be too, that would be something that's.
Ah.
I don't think.
Would it bring all the rents down then?
California in 2027.
The North Korea here.
Yeah.
Into every.
The Democratic Party endorsed.
So this is what it says. Expands local government's authorities to enact rent control on residential. Law. It's okay, so this is the Costa Hawkins, the Costa. Housing Act.
I remember him.
Prevents cities and counties from limiting the initial rental rate that landlords may charge. So it prevents, so right now. The Costa Hawkins Rental Housing Act of 1995 is what's in effect now. And it prevents cities and counties from limiting the initial rental rate that a landlord may charge to new tenants in all types of housing. And from limiting rent increases. So basically, Prop 33 would get Costa Hawkins to go away, which would allow the city to create the initial rental rate. That's what would happen. So the city will be allowed to dictate the initial rental rate.
That's like North Korea.
Wow.
It's
Would bring all the rent rates down in,
The city can do whatever they want, basically. It's up to the city.
they would wanna bring it down, right? Isn't this the whole point?
So, okay, so let's say I own a 40.
one proposition.
You own what?
Let's say I own a 40 unit property.
Okay,
And the rents are all really low.
okay.
would you buy that property?
No, I would not.
Because what's the upside?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you would buy the property at a certain price because the rents justify that price. Because if you buy the property, you can get, 5% return, 6% return. But when you're buying something that's gonna give you a 5 or 6% return. Basically,
So
that's it. That's it.
JJ, in reality,
There's no upside. Yeah.
if the house is worth, but the apartment was $5,000 and somebody pay 1,500 and you keep move out, people move out every time. You charge 1,500, 1,600.
Plus the percentage
It
that,
take 20 years to come back to original, to the market rate.
yeah.
So the guy is losing all that money, all that.
Is there an explanation why they're trying to bring this up? Is it because
So
it's the homeless?
this guy Weinstein from New York likes to do this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is a reason that benefits him.
This crazy guy.
it's a called liberalism.
Who is behind Rob?
It's gonna be all over, everybody, everything, every kind of property. House,
Well, yeah, if you're renting, it's great.
Fifteen, 10,
Great.
Cannot
That's
raise
great.
it.
Let's
Charge
maybe
it in
make
that
something
charge
like that.
maybe or something.
Bring the
Yeah,
market
yeah.
prices down.
It's so bad for landlords. But if you repair, now you're underwater, so.
Hasn't been passed yet. It's on the ballot.
Maybe everybody should sell. That's a perfect
Yeah.
time to sell.
If I saw that thing,
Yeah, yeah, let's not just.
Now, again, it just gives the city the ability. There are some cities that will not do it. It's optional. It just gives the cities the ability.
They would do it.
LA has it, so probably, but it gives the city the ability. It's not saying it's mandatory, it's just, it's up
There's
to
no
the city.
benefit.
So I don't think.
No, I don't think we will listen to buy it.
For sure.
That's fish.
Right,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think
I don't-
if it passes, begins on 2026.
20, what?
If it passes,
I don't know.
I think usually 6 months or
I have no idea.
it is. Yeah.
It's not a rule right now, yeah?
No, it's not.
No, it's gonna be on the ballot, November 6th ballot.
No, how's this?
Even if you can't change it.
If a listing is closing, I am coming soon on MLS, how long? Can you say that it needs 24 hours to go in?
So could be seen on the MLS. It's not a violation of the clear cooperation policy because it's not being marketed to the public. It's being marketed to agents only.
So,
So it can stay as long as,
I think the MLS allows it to stay 14 days.
and if they have a coming soon sign in front of the property?
That would be within 24,
oh,
So that,
in one business day. One business.
there's this house that we're interested, my clients are interested, but they haven't posted it,
They have not posted.
but they have a sign.
They have.
And it's been like-
So they're in violation.
Yeah.
they just, if you buy a low income apartment, let's say that 10 unit, that is a cap of 3 or 2%.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
The upside,
But
right, what's the upside?
what's the upside? Yes, there's nothing upside. So what if nobody's gonna buy that property?
They'll buy it.
I put the money in the bank.
Right.
This is against the, I mean,
Yeah, everything is against the real estate, why?
We're out of here.
I think we should,
We're getting on?
we should,
I've been here all morning, so.
I think we should have Ronald Reagan back in the
I'm
office.
out of here. You're gonna go make money now.
Even Mr.